This was suggested by Squinty Narwhal on the Discord server. In Fallout 3, back at the 10th birthday party for the Lone Wanderer, when the festivities close, if we follow the Overseer, we can hear him talk quite roughly to the Vault Guard about the player.
Enjoy the party, sir?
Bah! I only showed up because Amata's friends with the brat. Give them a few more minutes and then I want that place cleaned up and everybody back to work.
Sure thing, sir.
There is a bit more here that some people miss in this area though, like the loudspeakers. We can interact with any of the loudspeakers that we find, turning them on and off. It doesn't do much but stop the music or the Overseer's message from playing. Still, it's a fun small detail to play with when role-playing your disgust for the Overseer.
Do not interfere with Vault security personnel.
This was suggested by Max on the Discord. In Fallout 3, we start our adventure around the time James, our father, leaves Vault 101, plunging the entire community into chaos and putting everyone in danger in the process. Amata will wake us up to tell us about what has just happened and ultimately offer the Lone Wanderer a 10mm pistol. Most people aren't going to turn down a free gun at the start of the game, so you likely took it for yourself. This leads to Amata being terrorized by our father, the Overseer, and a Vault Guard.
Probably nothing, which is why you need to tell me where he is, so I can talk to him. Go ahead, officer.
You need to learn some respect.
Stop it!
If, however, you choose to refuse the pistol, claiming Amata will likely need it more than you do, this scene changes, and Amata isn't the pushover she once was.
What does he have to do with any of this anyway?
Probably nothing, which is why you need to tell me where he is, so I can talk to him.
Watch out, sir, she's got a gun.
Amata, where did you get that gun?
Just get away from me! I don't want to shoot you, but I will! I swear I will!
How dare you threaten me? And with my own gun! I'm your father, damn you, and you'll show me some respect. Officer Mac, don't just stand there!
Don't make me take that gun away from you, girlie. Just hand it over. Nice and easy now.
No! Get away from me!
Oh my God, Amata! What have you done?
Shout out to Nostalgion on Discord for suggesting this one. In Fallout 4, we can come across the Cabot House, an out-of-place pristine mansion just outside of downtown Boston. We learn that the Cabots have access to a mysterious serum that has some pretty radical health benefits, keeping the family in a semi-immortal state, halting aging, and purging all radiation from the subject. It's quite impressive. We can get our hands on a few doses of the mysterious serum after the Cabot quest is completed, so now we should take one of these to Far Harbor. The island is covered in thick fog that leaves the inhabitants incredibly rad-sick. One such person is Andre. Andre is in the bait shop under the watchful eye of the town doctor. Still, we can offer our own help here without meeting the standard checks to do so, if we have the mysterious serum in our inventory. It's nice to see things get called back into DLCs and late game content. Someone playing Fallout 4 might think, well, the serum solves this type of problem, and having that be an option in game is an excellent example of attention to small detail, which Far Harbor has in spades. Many fans in the Fallout community are having a fit right now, claiming they have a Mandela effect when it comes to A Moment in the Pit, the DLC for Fallout 3. People claim that you could eat Marie, the baby that has immunity to radiation, of course if the player has bad karma and the cannibal perk, resulting in the Lone Wanderer being 100% resistant to radiation. This was never the case. It's actually a mod called Acquired Immunity. Just wanted to clear this up, and a link to the mod will be in the description below. This one was suggested by Oblivion Walker on the Discord. In the Fallout New Vegas DLC Lonesome Road, there is an item that many people miss entirely, mainly because it looks like an object we usually wouldn't be able to loot. The Roughin' It bedroll is perhaps one of the best items in the game. They can also fetch a pretty penny when doing some merchant runs, as you only need one bedroll and there are 3 throughout the divide. The first one we can find is above the entrance to the Hopeville silo, nestled between a car and a hard place. The second one we can locate is at the ruined highway interchange, leaning against a median. Then, third and finally, we can find one in a makeshift stone hut around the Ashton Silo control station. These bedrolls will allow you to sleep pretty much anywhere you want, meaning you can heal yourself and get some rest around Lonesome Road, which helps out quite a bit. All you have to do is select it in your Pip Boy and catch some Z's. Not something you want to leave behind the next time you visit the Divide. Shout out to Aloha from the Discord for suggesting this one. In Fallout New Vegas, there are a few ways that we can confront Benny. It's safe to say that the majority of players will simply walk up to the checkered Lothario and speak to him on sight, so some may find any alternatives to this as a surprise. First, talking to Swank and either giving him some evidence like Benny's lighter and cigarette butts or passing a few speech checks will see the courier get their weapons returned inside the casino. Swank even informs us that he will tell the staff to look the other way about us carrying heat. This can lead to the courier confronting Benny in his own room, which will grant some different dialogue options and choices when it comes to dealing with him once and for all.
What in the goddamn? You? How could you be? Oh, Swank, you finky bastard. You got a crazy drop on me, baby, but you don't want to kill me. We should be working together.
Still, if we talk to Benny on the main casino floor and meet him in the presidential suite after passing his speech check, we will be allowed to forgive him. Let's take him out after making this choice. We get a rather unique set of circumstances to see an area that will not be open during any other part of the game. When Benny starts to leave, New Vegas sees this as him fleeing, as he will be making his way to the fort after this and ultimately will get captured by the Legion. Because of this code in the game files, the elevator door to Benny's secret escape tunnel will be unlocked to allow him to use it to make his way into the Legion's loving embrace. By killing him before he leaves the presidential suite, he never reaches the door, which is coded to remain unlocked during this script until Benny passes through this door, which will immediately relock and require a key that doesn't exist to open it. So by doing this, we have the only way to see and visit this tunnel without console commands or any special tricks. This means this is the only way on Xbox and PlayStation to go to this location. The tunnel is pretty bare as it really was never supposed to be seen, likely cut with the myriad of other things that lie in the cutting room floor for New Vegas. Still, this is a small detail that many people will likely miss as the drive to kill Benny in other ways is strong, and the game encourages us to follow a different path. Thank you to Kitty from the Discord for suggesting this one. In Fallout New Vegas, while at Boulder City, we can find quite a few clues about the previous Battle of Hoover Dam and the standoff that happened here. On the top floor of a building here that is brought to our attention by a trail of skeletons, we can find the remains of Ranger Teresa Lutz, and next to her is a holotape that reads, "We're cut off from the rest of the platoon, and there are legionaries all over the place. There's no chance that we can get out of here before they blow the town, so we're going to hold out against them as long as we can. If anyone gets this, I'd like to make sure that Private Jeffrey Hoy and Corporal Marcus Christensen are commended for their valor and sacrifice. Both have upheld the ideals and honor of the New California Republic with distinction. Ranger Teresa Lutz out." We can find the names of Marcus Christensen, Jeffrey Hoy, and Teresa Lutz on the war memorial outside, and Private Kowalski even sheds some more light on the events that took place.
You here to pay your respects to? It commemorates the Battle of Hoover Dam. The Rangers lured the best of Caesar's Legion into Boulder City and blew the whole town up. The NCR still lost a bunch of troops in the fighting, though. My older brother sacrificed himself so they could evacuate some of the wounded.
More remnants of the battle lie around the area, skeletons of the Legion group that came into Boulder City and the NCR soldiers that defended it. It is a charming yet solemn small detail that tells a lot about the history of the area and the two most prominent factions that inhabit it. In Fallout New Vegas, the devs did a lot to ensure people were discouraged from mad dashing to the shiny beacon that is the Strip. This is why when heading through Sloan, Chomps will stop you and have this to say.
Hold up. There are death claws all over the damn place north of here. I'd turn back if I were you. If you want to get to New Vegas, you're better off heading east from Prim and then looping north. It's a heck of a lot safer.
If we come from the north, however, Chomps will have some unique dialogue and be impressed with the courier.
Can't believe anyone actually made it through from the north, what with all the death claws at the quarry. You returning from New Vegas? They moved into the quarry after the powder gangers came through and made off with most of our dynamite. We shut the quarry down while we waited for the NCR to get us some more blasting sticks, but now the death claws have shown up. The NCR's a no-show, and my men and I have got nothing to do but sit on our asses all day. It's damn frustrating.
In Fallout 4, one of the first things we are directed to do in the Commonwealth is investigate Concord. The small town seems to be dealing with a raider problem, so Preston and the gang take shelter in the Museum of Freedom. Most players will hit this place right out of the vault and will have little in the way of gear when they arrive. Preston and Sturgis will inform the sole survivor about their plan to get some power armor and a minigun off the roof of the building. Fallout 4 does know how to deal with you showing up prepared though, as we can get some unique dialogue here if you show up in a suit of power armor.
Thanks.
Nah, that ain't
It's good to meet someone who really cares. Anyway, we figured Concord would be a safe place to settle. Those raiders proved us wrong. But,
God damn it.
well, we do have one idea.
One good idea can make all the difference.
Sturgis, tell him.
I had a whole fancy plan about fixing up a suit of power armor. And here you are, walking in like some kind of metal miracle. There's a crashed vertibird up on the roof. Old school, pre-war. You might have seen it. Well, it's got a minigun, and it seems to be intact. Wearing that armor, you could rip it right off. Then those raiders get an express ticket to hell. You dig?
Can't be too hard. I'll see what I can do.
While it's not as much of a change, if we show up with a minigun, Fallout 4 accounts for that as well.
Well, it's got a minigun, and it seems to be intact. Wearing that armor, you could rip it right off. Then those raiders get an express ticket to hell. You dig?
Actually, I got a minigun right here. We're set.
Well, all right. Maybe our luck's finally turning around. Once you, that power armor, and that minigun show up outside, those raiders will know they picked the wrong fight. Good luck.
This one was suggested by multiple people on Discord and in the YouTube comments. In Fallout New Vegas, you can find Aster patrolling with a group of troopers at Camp Searchlight. If you have been to Cottonwood Cove, you can reveal this to him. He explains that the NCR is keeping an eye on that place. Still, he very clearly has his hands full with the Searchlight area, it having just been hit by a chemical attack from the Legion and all. Aster will tell the courier to get some intel from the camp and plant a bug on the Legion's radio. This can be quickly done with a bit of sneaking, and we can return to Aster with all the information we found out about Cottonwood. This is when Aster will say he wants someone to take out the camp for good. Killing every legionary in the area would be a good start, still it doesn't stop them from reforming later, which would indeed happen. Luckily, there is a way to prevent Cottonwood from hosting Legion or anyone else ever again. On Cottonwood Overlook, we can find this truck teetering off the edge, door facing the camp. We can open this hatch during the quest and let all of the toxic waste barrels fall into the settlement, killing every Legion guard who gets close.
Let's hear it. What? How did you pull it off? That's exactly what we needed to put a cork in that camp. The Legion won't be moving through there anytime soon. Fitting that the camp was taken care of in a way similar to Searchlight. Thank you for taking care of that place for us.
One of the best parts of doing the quest an eye for an eye this way is how the devs handled going to the fort afterwards. If you still wanted to play a Legion run after this, you could, so they give Lucullus a radiation suit to protect him from the barrels. A good tactic indeed, but this also comes with some unique dialogue.
I warned them about that truck weeks ago. Always be prepared for any hazardous radiation, I said. Those headstrong fools should have listened. Are you ready to head upriver?
This is just another excellent example of New Vegas giving the player creative options to finish their goals. And if you have a favorite alternate way to complete any Fallout quest, make sure to tell me about them in the comments below. In Fallout New Vegas, there are weapons you can only get with console commands. Being on PC certainly has its perks. Regardless of standard cut content you can find this way, we can also come across some absolutely ridiculous guns that can be a lot of fun when you're stomping around the Mojave. First, we are looking at the Federator, a debug automatic Gauss rifle that can be found in the TKs-Mantis cell, or by using console commands to spawn it into your inventory. This Gauss rifle has infinite ammo and fires automatically, making it just a killing machine. No matter what's in front of you, it's game over. But the same can be said for the other two. Like the debug mega pistol. You can get this by using console commands to spawn it into the game world, and it looks and functions just like a regular 9mm pistol. The big difference is the insane amount of damage it does. You're gonna be one-shotting anything with this pistol, period. Finally, for the laser buffs out there, the Disintegrator. This, much like the previous guns, looks just like its in-game counterpart, the laser rifle. Still, it does one-hit damage to anything, disintegrating it on contact. These guns are all just really fun to mess around with, and it's nice that we still have access to them in the final version of Fallout New Vegas. This has been suggested by many people on Discord and in the YouTube comments, but most recently by PZEasy23. In Fallout New Vegas, we can come across many small details and exciting discoveries that really tie the game world together. One such location is the unmarked Deathclaw Promontory on the east side of the river, across from a prospector's camp. Here, we can find all of the Deathclaws New Vegas has been hiding from us, and if you thought Quarry Junction was rough, this place is like the hard mode version of that area. No place to hide mixed with tight valleys make this peninsula a literal death trap. But if you can manage the Deathclaws, there is quite the reward waiting for you. We can find 2 prospectors here, each wearing power armor, with one wearing quite possibly the best and rarest in the game. The Enclave Remnants power armor can be looted, and if you have the power armor training perk, it's yours to wear. With the OP jury rigging perk, you can even repair this armor with the T51B you find here, but now we have to find the helmet to make this complete. That journey will bring us to Silver Peak Mine, which lies on the road to Jacobstown and is pretty close to the Remnants bunker itself. This place is no walk in the park either, as the mine is dark and filled with the shadows and noises of Cazadores, which will make short work of any explorer foolish enough to breach the entrance. After working our way through the flying killing machines, we can find an unlocked gate that will have the helmet we are looking for lying next to the skeleton of an assumed Enclave member who spent their last days here. Looting it, we can use jury rigging again to repair the helmet with the T51B piece that we found at the promontory. And now, we are rocking the best armor in the game, at least in my opinion. This is not the only way to get this armor set in the game either, but it certainly is the fastest, as Arcade's quest can take quite some time, and the Remnants will only really have this towards the end game. An interesting fact about the Enclave Remnants armor is that game director Joshua Sawyer had planned to make every NPC in the game hostile to the player if they were wearing this, taking from the Fallout 2 story of the Enclave being vilified by most everyone in the area. I imagine this would involve people being surprised to see a set of this armor out in the wild. This was cut and changed because Sawyer believed it took away from the player's experience in game, and I can see why. But it would be a fun trade-off. Either way, to me, this is the most iconic armor in the Fallout series, being modeled after the advanced power armor from Fallout 2. Not only is it great to see it in Fallout New Vegas, but it's a must-have for item collectors in any playthrough. Shout out to Kitty from the Discord for suggesting this one. In Fallout New Vegas, if you travel to Camp McCarran, the courier can speak to Private Christina Morales inside the concourse here. Doing so will reveal that she has recently lost her husband, an NCR ranger, during a firefight with the Fiends. This starts a semi-unmarked quest to retrieve the body of Esteban Morales. I say semi-unmarked because the quest itself is considered unmarked, but we get a map marker to see where Esteban wound up. An NCR trooper will stop and warn us about the Fiends on our way up to the scene. Seems Esteban is in between a group of buildings, and the raiders have the area surrounded. We can find Ranger Jackson's body here as well. Nothing happens if we recover him though. Picking off the Fiends, we can bring the fallen trooper to his brothers in arms, and they will promise to send him back to California.
I don't believe it. Who the hell are you, man? How did you just walk right up and pull him out of there? Oh, bullshit. What anybody else would have done is get their asses killed. You're leading some kind of charmed life. We'll make sure Ranger Morales' body gets sent back home. You don't have to, pick him up on your shoulder and haul him to California. Even though I believe you would if you had to. You should go tell Private Morales the news. I know she'll be relieved.
Though the dialogue will change if we take an extreme amount of damage during the mission.
Oh my god, are you okay? You've got to get to a medic. Doc Kemp can patch you up back at base. How could you sacrifice your body like that? You never even met him. If the NCR doesn't have a medal for this, they should make one up.
Returning to Christina puts her at ease, and the whole quest just feels nice to do. This is pretty easily missable, as one could not visit the concourse at all in a playthrough, let alone talk to Morales. It is undoubtedly one of the saddest quests in New Vegas. In Fallout New Vegas, while in Freeside, you may see a kid or group of kids chasing a giant rat around the old Mormon fort. To some, it may just look like a fun game that the children do to stay busy, but the truth is a bit darker than that. These kids are chasing their dinner, and if they don't catch it, they likely won't eat. Freeside is a rough area with a lot of poor and downtrodden people. The good news is, we can kill the rat and secure dinner for the kids. After taking care of the rat, we can even see the kids eat it sometimes.
Thanks, mister.
Thank you to Golden Mail for suggesting this in the YouTube comments. In Fallout New Vegas, we can meet Old Lady Gibson. She is a scavenger of the Mojave and has been most of her life. She will mention that her favorite piece is the O she got from the RepCon sign, and we can actually see where she got it in game. Heading to the RepCon test site, if we look at the sign, we can see the O is missing, and this is the place Gibson got her seat from. The Fallout series is filled with small details like this, and it makes the game worlds feel that much more alive. Big thanks to NIL8R79 on the Discord server for suggesting this one. In Fallout 3, after we've done the quest Take It Back and engaged Project Purity, we will find a sleazy ghoul named Griffin outside of the Museum of History who will be shilling his own version of Aqua Pura, cleverly named Aqua Cura. One of the first things people notice about Griffin is his unusually full head of hair, as ghouls often lose most, if not all of their hair during the ghoulification process. It looks like a somewhat out of place wig, and it turns out that it is, though he claims his locks are due to the healing properties of Aqua Cura.
Friends, have you stopped combing your hair? Afraid of pulling out the few remaining plugs? Well, fear no longer. Cast your gaze upon my luxurious coiffure, and now you too can get your hair back with the amazing Aqua Cura. Guaranteed, or your bottle cap's back. Wow!
We can find a mess of these wigs in the Museum Authority building, inside a cabinet in one of the production rooms. And if we wear this fancy rug and talk to Griffin, we can get a bit of a unique dialogue with him.
Welcome back. What can I do for you? Look at that. We practically have the same haircut. What are the chances of that?
Big thanks to Rocked from the Discord for suggesting this one. In Fallout New Vegas, we can find Jacobstown, a quaint little settlement outside of downtown Vegas, inhabited by Marcus and his super mutant family. On the outskirts of town, we can find Charleston Cave. This cave is a nightmare, filled to the brim with Night Stalker and enough twists and turns to get most people lost fast. Deep in the flooded chambers at the bottom of the cavern, we can find something that many explorers miss. Most people are here for the quest Guess Who I Saw Today and might have missed it altogether due to the confusing tunnels here. This bunker lies hidden in one of the corners of the underchambers and is both a nice find and a disturbing one. The shelter looks sturdy and has held up well for over 200 years, and we can find some ammo, purified water, and some first aid chems on the rack. There's even a bed on the floor. We can also find an audio log that seems to be from the person using this bunker from around the time the bombs dropped, and it has some disturbing overtones to say the least.
So the Reds finally hit us, just like I always said they would. Vegas is still there as far as I know, but that probably won't last long. Didn't get accepted into one of the vaults, so I did the next best thing and had this place built. Got massive debts, but who cares now? That's every man for himself now. Had to take care of the Paulson boy since he knew about this place. These supplies are for me and nobody else. There's a woman and her daughter up in one of the rooms of the lodge. Might go pay him a visit tomorrow. The man's got needs.
Suppose you manage to make it to the fort in Fallout New Vegas before going to the strip and speaking to Mr. House inside the Lucky 38. If that's the case, he will have a few unique dialogue lines reflecting that you blew him off.
Quite an honor you spurned, my invite. You would be the first person to set foot inside the Lucky 38 in over 200 years. But you still wound up here, right where I wanted you. I knew I could rely on Caesar to return the platinum chip to you. But that's not going to happen, because you're going to work for me.
Thank you to Spymaster66 for suggesting this one on the Discord server. In Fallout New Vegas, we can find a broken Howitzer Cannon when doing a Legion run. If we talk to Lucius, we can get a quest to fix this bad boy, leading us to the Boomers. We will want them to help us, so becoming friends with the group is a good idea. After the questing at Nellis, we can grab a firing mechanism to fix the cannon at the fort, which will then aid the Legion in the battle at Hoover Dam. Speaking of big guns that can be used that people miss, as suggested by Craftwork on the Discord server, we can go to the X7A left field artillery and fire the giant gun at the Boomtown target zone. Just some fun small details that people can easily miss. Shout out to Scan from the Discord for suggesting this one. Also, check out Loner on YouTube, who has posted about this before. Link can be found in the description. In Fallout 3, we start our adventure literally at birth and go through our childhood in Vault 101. A tradition of the Vault is to bestow each dweller with a Pip Boy on the day of their 10th birthday. We see this in action in Fallout 3. After various shenanigans, the intercom will begin to ring, prompting James to walk over to it, engaging the rest of the quest. We can answer the intercom ourselves for a bit of dialogue with Jonas though, something that a whole lot of players probably didn't do.
Oh hey, it's Jonas. Happy birthday. Sorry I couldn't be at your party. Listen, would you put your dad on? Can you put your dad on, please?
Totally killer, though.
Can you put your dad on, please?
The Fallout series is filled with exciting locations. Pretty much every game in the lineup has at least one place that stands out for one reason or another, and I want to talk about two that are my favorite. A surprising amount of people seem to miss what's going on with the names of these places. First, Arafu in Fallout 3. This settlement is named this way because of the sign on the overpass. It read, "Careful, next exit, pre-war." And since then, the first and last letter rubbed off, leading to the locals calling it Arafu. A very similar thing is going on with Novac in Fallout New Vegas, though it is hinted at much stronger because we can still see the lettering from before. In front of the hotel, the no vacancy sign lost most of its letters, so the locals referred to the area as Novac. Do you have a favorite city name in the Fallout series? I would love to see more examples of this clever naming pattern, so let me know in the comments below. Big thanks to Nasser on the Discord for suggesting this one. In Fallout New Vegas, you will meet the boomers at Nellis Air Force Base. Their primary focus at the moment is raising the Lady in the Water, a crashed B-29 bomber that is on the surface of Lake Mead. Going through the quest Volare, we'll see the courier use inflation devices to raise it from the lake, and Loyal will state that the boomers are sending robots to clean up the parts. As we can see beforehand, the boomers already have a bomber in their hangar, but this one was found in the old museum and they can only use it for parts. The one in Lake Mead is pretty much entirely intact. After some time in game, we can see the boomers repairing the plane to complete working order, something a lot of people miss because very few come back to Nellis after helping the boomers. Another small detail that doesn't have to be in the game, but makes the world have that much more depth. You gotta love things like this. This was suggested by Nasser on the Discord. He had a message for his friend as well, which was, "Come to Brazil, Brett." In Fallout New Vegas, one of the factions we can interact with is the Great Khans. If you establish a good relationship with them and then travel to Nelson, you can kick off a line of events that can make you the absolute leader of the tribe. Speaking with Dead Sea, we can get a quest to attack Camp Forlorn Hope. All we have to do is take out all the officers at the camp and return to Dead Sea. Once that is completed, we have to head to Red Rock Canyon. Speaking with Papa Khan, he will be so impressed with what we did that he will name the courier his heir in the Khans, making you next in line for leadership. Now all we have to do is take out Papa Khan silently, and the tribe is ours. Speaking with Regis, we can even decide the future of the Great Khans. There is an option to fight everyone, sending them to fight it out against both factions at the dam if we so wish. This is another way to quickly get the Khans to side with the NCR as well.
Well, that's the end of that.
Thank you to Max from the Discord for suggesting this one. The Point Lookout DLC for Fallout 3 is a fantastic voyage into a murky swampland, filled with plenty of dangers to keep you busy for hours. One of the most significant landmarks most everyone will instantly see is the Point Lookout Lighthouse. Heading to the top of the lighthouse, we can see the bulb is broken. Still, we can find a holotape note that talks about a crashed truck carrying a solution to this problem, and we can find it in-game. In between the detention camp and the cathedral, we can find the truck wreckage and a brand new bulb inside. Taking this back to the top of the lighthouse, changing the bulb and flipping the switch will engage the light, and now we have a functioning lighthouse here in Point Lookout. This is an excellent small detail and really adds some personality to the area. To me, it's worth doing every playthrough. In Fallout New Vegas, if you use console commands to warp to the Lucky 38 penthouse before visiting New Vegas proper, you can come across a somewhat surprising sight. We will find an empty penthouse filled with liminality. The only person here is an eerie human NPC version of Mr. House. He looks nothing like he should. He uses a generic male voice and has pretty much no dialogue.
What do you need? Bye.
One could say this is just a placeholder for Mr. House, but even that doesn't really make sense to me. What would be the purpose? We would never see this in game, so unless New Vegas needs to mark Mr. House as being in the Lucky 38 indefinitely, the whole thing comes off as spooky at the very least. In Fallout New Vegas, we can come across a disgruntled bounty hunter named Little Buster. He will be punching his cares away at Camp McCarran with his unique unarmed weapon, the Cram Opener.
Hey, yeah. Next time you see me, maybe I'll be rolling in a shitload of caps, right?
Nothing is stopping you from killing him and taking it now, but if we complete the quest 3-card bounty and take out the fiends listed, Little Buster will be gone from the area. Turns out, the next time we see him, he isn't rolling in caps, he's actually dead outside the old Mormon fort, laying on the train tracks. Of course, we can loot the cram opener from him here, but some may miss this opportunity because it's such a poorly trafficked area. Regardless, it's nice that Obsidian tied his little story together, even if it didn't turn out so well. Shout out to Drod from the Discord for suggesting this. In Fallout 4, you can come across Vault-Tec Lunchboxes. These boxes will give you random rewards when you open them, maybe some Nuka-Cola or perhaps a dirty mute fruit. But one thing about these Vault-Tec treasures seems to go unnoticed by a good amount of people. When the lunchboxes are opened, you can see some crudely drawn faces if you take a look inside. Not too sure what they are supposed to be or why they're even there, but it's something you could easily miss if you didn't know they were there. And now, you won't be able to not see them. This video was suggested by a user on Discord. In Fallout 2, when you find yourself in Broken Hills, make sure to pay the scientist and his rad scorpion a visit. While we are in here, we need to steal the spectacles from the scorpion. Now, we make our way to New Reno, heading over to Renesco's pharmacy on the west side of town. During a conversation with Renesco, we can give him the glasses, and there are a couple rewards for this, including a discount at his shop, but if we turn these down, it opens up the path to an incredibly rare item. What we have to do is ask Renesco 20 times about the glasses after giving them to him. Once we do, he will get frustrated with the line of questioning and thrust the Pip Boy Medical Enhancer into our faces. The in-game description reads, "The Pip Boy Medical Enhancer consists of a storage holodisc, microfilament cord, headgear, and an optical sensor that is placed over the user's left eye. When used, an optical flash transmits a dictionary of physician skills and know-how into the user's memory, permanently improving the user's doctor skill." Due to this being an unmarked quest and the NPCs involved being so out of the way, most people who play Fallout 2 miss this item entirely. Once used, the Chosen One will proclaim, "Whoa, the doctor is in," and the log will read, "You have used the Pip Boy Medical Enhancer. A vast amount of medical knowledge floods your brain. It will increase the Chosen One's doctor skill by 10. Thank you to Uji in the Discord for suggesting this one. In Fallout New Vegas, while in the town of Novak, we can visit the Dino Bike gift shop inside the giant T-Rex. Behind a locked door, we can find a ton of Dinky the T-Rex souvenirs, that gun, and more importantly for this video, toy rockets. Most people make a habit of grabbing these toys before doing the Come Fly With Me quest, which sees us use them as rocket fuel. They do have another use in New Vegas though, and it will take us to Nellis Air Force Base. The boomers that inhabit this base are not used to outsiders and have little to no trading with the Mojave. Pearl, their leader, will request you get on the good side of the tribe, and these rockets can help with that in a great way. We can find mini boomers, the children of the tribe, running around, playing, going to school, and pretty much doing anything else you would expect a kid to do in the post-apocalypse. If you have a charisma 7 or higher, the courier will get unique dialogue options. Each kid has some type of game they are playing, seemingly based on skill magazines, and if you have some of these rocket toys in your inventory, the courier will be able to gift them to a lot of the mini boomers. Most people likely miss this as charisma is widely considered a dump stat in Fallout New Vegas, leading many to set it to 1 and use the points on other parts of their build. Regardless, if you have the stats, it makes dealing with the boomers that much easier. In Fallout 4, when wearing a mining helmet, if you try to use the Pip Boy flashlight, the lamp on the hat will turn on instead. This will give you a front-facing light like when wearing power armor. Also like power armor helmets, these mining hats can be customized, changing the color of the shown light. If you aren't a fan of the wrist-mounted one, this is an excellent way to get a better flashlight in Fallout 4. This is just a tiny detail that makes the world of Fallout 4 a little more immersive. Shout out to Scooter on the Discord for suggesting this one. In Fallout New Vegas, if you head to the tops and confront Benny, Vulpus will engage you as you leave, giving you the mark of Kaisar. If you do this before you go to Nipton, Vulpus will have some unique dialogue.
"Oh, I don't know if you recognize me from the strip, when I handed you the mark of Kaisar. I wasn't wearing a dog's head at the time. Don't worry, I won't have you lashed to a cross like the rest of these degenerates. It's useful that you happen by. I want you to witness the fate of the town of Nipton, to memorize every detail. And then, when you move on, I want you to teach everyone you meet the lesson that Kaisar's Legion taught here. especially any NCR troops you run across.
This has been suggested by quite a few people, but most recently, the Pro Game Freak on Discord. In the Fallout New Vegas DLC Lonesome Road, we can find an extremely rare item. In fact, this is the only time that we can find this at all. After exiting the Hopeville silo, if we head to the back of the Solitaire gas station, we have a 1 in 10 chance of a Nuka-Cola Quantum spawning in this crate. If you miss it, you miss it. You would have to reload a save before you leave the silo in order to reroll the contents of this crate. This is the only Nuka-Cola Quantum in the entire game, so if you're a collector of rare items, this will be a must grab for you on every playthrough. In Fallout 3, the largest slaver encampment by far is Paradise Falls. The location acts as a veritable Garden of Eden for scumbags, but it also has a cool feature with its entrance. You can actually open and close this gate, much like the entrance to Diamond City and Fallout 4, which I covered in a past video, just on a much smaller scale. The gate itself should look familiar, as we can see the tall boy statue is missing an arm. This appendage has been used to make a sturdy gateway into Slaver Country, USA. Small details like this are what makes the Fallout series so great. Each little thing adds up to one of the most immersive universes in gaming history. In Fallout 4, we start out in Sanctuary Hills, based on the real-world Minuteman National Park. While in this pre-war world, we have limited time to interact with things before the game wants us to go to Vault 111. I want to take a look at a couple of things I found interesting about this area. First, the Vault-Tec salesman has a clipboard, and we never see what is on it usually, but taking the camera over to behind the man shows that it has paperwork that features the special system from Fallout. This relates to him having you set up your stats at the door. Another thing I have noticed about pre-war Sanctuary is that it is missing a lot of things that seem just to appear after the bombs drop, most notably the Sanctuary Hills sign. Other items include the bunker that can be found outside one of the houses and the playground equipment by the riverside. While it's strange that these things show up later, it makes sense that Bethesda didn't add them to the pre-war, as the player would never usually see these areas following the path of the game, especially since trying to leave will cause the bombs to drop. In Fallout New Vegas, after you have made a name for yourself and got some levels under your belt, while walking around Freeside, you may get stopped by a thug. Now, Freeside thugs aren't anything rare or unique, but this one seems to have a change of demeanor once they recognize you, and it makes for a pretty funny encounter.
Give me all your cap. Whoa, I'm sorry. I didn't know it was you. Please don't hurt me. I've got a wife and kids and pets and stuff.
There is an astounding amount of Fallout-related things in the 2002 PlayStation 2 Interplay title, Run Like Hell. Starting with the voice actors, we can find Cree Summer, who voiced Tandy in Fallout and Lynette in Fallout 2.
Hi, Nick. I left early to check on the organisms we found in the ocean yesterday. They're amazing. The things multiply so fast, we're not even sure how the ecosystem of the planet keeps them in check.
Finally, someone else who sees. Of course, you've probably been everywhere, so this must be hell for you.
We can find our boy Jason Martzen, who voices Myron in Boone.
Oh, hello, sir.
Hey, you're Niles' boy, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Well, good morning. Tell your dad hi for me. And, stay out of trouble.
Yes, sir. My wife's dead. I want the son of a bitch who sold her.
The game is filled with actors that appeared in previous Fallout games. Clancy Brown, Kevin Michael Richardson, Pamela Adlon, Greg Griffin, BJ Ward, Tress McNeil, and Corey Burton all have roles in Run Like Hell. On top of all the familiar voice actors, Inan Zur composed the music for Run Like Hell. Zur would later go on to write most of the music we hear in the Fallout games today. If you are a fan of Fallout Brotherhood of Steel, have no fear. Your favorite drink has returned. Ball's vending machines litter this game and really make you think about how this drink has survived so many crazy scenarios. Finally, we come to the main event of the Fallout references in this game, the Pip Boy Protein Bar. These are found in vending machines like the Ball's drinks and can be used to restore a small amount of health. I think it's cool Interplay added throwbacks to Fallout in this game, and had Bethesda not stepped in, this could have been the last time we saw Vault Boy in a video game. I want to send out a big thanks to everybody who's been leaving suggestions in the YouTube comments and on the Discord server. This is one of the most suggested, so thank you very much. In Fallout New Vegas, while in Freeside, we can come across Rotface, a panhandling ghoul outside of Mick and Rouse that will offer tips and info on the surrounding area for the price of 1 cap. After exhausting all of Rotface's dialogue, if we wait a few days and come back to Freeside, he will be wearing a fancy new hat, which interestingly belongs to Eulogy Jones from Paradise Falls in Fallout 3. This doesn't seem to be a coincidence either, as the hat does not appear in Fallout 3, just here in New Vegas, so who knows how it got here. Diving deeper, we can find that this was part of a larger quest involving Rotface that would see the ghoul raise his prices each time you tipped him enough, going from 1 cap to 10 and from 10 caps to 100. This could lead to Rotface wearing Eulogy's entire outfit. There is a mod that restores this content, but the clothes are renamed to reflect Rotface. If this was how it was supposed to appear, then perhaps it may not be the clothes of the Paradise Falls head honcho. Still, the hat is a new item. It wasn't in Fallout 3, and when we have no mods affecting it, the name shows as Eulogy Jones's hat. Either way, Rotface is a likable character that deserves a new hat, so make sure to pay him a visit on your next playthrough. Thanks to Garmfield in the Discord for suggesting this one. In the Fallout 3 DLC Point Lookout, many things are out to stop the Lone Wanderer, swamp folk, sea life, and even a pre-war ghoulified Russian circus bear. We can find posters all over town about Ruska the Wonder Bear, but just out of bounds to the north of the Sacred Bog entrance, we can meet her. Much like the rest of the Yao Guai in Fallout 3, Ruska will be hostile unless we have the Animal Friend perk. Ruska is pretty big. According to the wiki, she's about 20% larger than other Yao Guai. Still, we can find her here, playing with her big red ball, waiting for the next group of swamp folk to stumble into her alcove. This was suggested by Johnny Boy on the Discord. In the Fallout New Vegas DLC Dead Money, the courier heads to the Sierra Madre Casino after following a radio signal. Once there, we learn quite a bit about the area and the people who inhabited it. This whole place was built to protect a woman named Vera Keyes from the war. Her voice fills the hallowed resort and holograms of the starlit litter the area. We can find her final resting place next to the elevator that leads to the vault. The man who built all of this can be found as well. After learning Vera planned on robbing the casino with Dean Domino, Sinclair planned on locking her away with her own greed. Still, once he found out that Dean was blackmailing Vera, he tried to roll his plan back. This is why we can find a holotape that has been ripped out of the vault terminal, and not too far away, we can see the founder's remains in Sinclair's bag. Just an excellent little detail that ties the whole story together. In Fallout 3, you should locate the Capitol Post if you find yourself around La Enfant Plaza. This is an easily missable office complex that acted as a newspaper publication before the war. Inside, on a lower floor, we can find the body of Gibson. He has been decapitated. It almost looks like his head has been twisted off and placed in front of him. He's carrying a few things on his person, but most importantly, he has a key and a scrap of paper. The note reading, "Search the house." Moving to Minefield, we can find this house among a few others, but this one stands out. Blood is splattered on the ground and there's a handprint left behind as an aftermath to some sort of grisly scene. The door is locked, but the key to this door can be found on Arkansas, an old-timer with an itchy trigger finger that carries a sniper rifle. Once inside the Gibson house, we can find a perfect model home, replicating the very house that we are in. The model is also locked, but the key we got from Gibson will open it. This whole scenario is a giant reference to the fantastic Hideo Kojima game, Snatcher, a cyberpunk thriller that sees Gillian Seed investigate humanoid robots known as Snatchers. After having his head twisted off in the game, Jean-Jacques Gibson will leave a memo that says, "Search the house," after which Gillian and Metal Gear will investigate Gibson's house. Inside the home, we can find a model described as a perfect miniature of the home. In Snatcher, this model is a music box, but there's nothing inside, while in Fallout 3, the Gibson model is locked at very hard and has some random food and junk in it. This isn't the end of the references to Kojima here. Remember when we started this adventure at La Enfant Plaza? Well, this is a real-world location, but I believe the devs chose to place Gibson's body here to further the connection to Kojima, as the La Enfant Terrible project is one of the main plots of the Metal Gear Solid series. Just some devs showing some love to Kojima. You'll love to see it. As we are all familiar with in Fallout 4, we wake up in a cryogenic tube and start our Commonwealth adventure after a brief pre-war segment. The first enemies we come across are rad roaches that have infested the dank vault underground. During the fight with these bugs, we can use VATS to target them more accurately. The problem with this is, we haven't picked up a Pip Boy yet, meaning the sole survivor is capable of using VATS without one. And there's a terminal in the Institute that reads, in select Gen 3 units, the synthetic brain is indeed capable of accepting specific enhancements to the visual cortex, basal ganglia, and right parietal cortex. The result is substantially improved combat effectiveness due to two factors. An increased understanding of weapon accuracy to the extent that the combatant can actually visualize the percentage of effectively hitting targets, or smaller areas on those targets. And 2, an altered sense of perception that mimics the effect of slowing or even stopping time. Using this info, mixed with the myriad of other hints in Fallout 4, I can safely assume the Sole Survivor is a synth replacement made to take Father's place once he passes on. Many people have said that the Courier in New Vegas can use VATS before getting the Pip Boy as well, but this is not true. The Sole Survivor is the only player character that has this ability. In Fallout 4, sitting right next to the combat zone in downtown Boston, we find the Warren Theater. This pre-war building actually exists in real life and shares the same name. But it's what's inside that interests us the most when it comes to this video. Going through the lobby of this rundown theater and into the elevator will bring us to the actual performance area. We can see various mannequins set up on the stage, almost looking like they're putting on a play, but one of these figures stands out the most. In the back, a lone synth keeps a vigil, and if you're not aligned with the Institute, this guy will attack on sight. This is a nice little wake-up call from Bethesda for people exploring the area who might have gotten too comfortable, though I believe the Whispering Hills mod pulled the trick off a little better. This is good. Oh, okay, of course. What's up with their faces? What the fuck? Okay. Okay. That was good as fuck. That got me so good. A surprising amount of people have suggested this one over the past couple of months, most recently, Leetworm on the Discord. One of my childhood friends even went as far as to kill 3Dog over this when Fallout 3 came out because he thought he had tricked him. In Fallout 3, if you start the quest Galaxy News Radio after finding your dad, 3Dog will offer the location of a military weapons cache as a reward for helping with the good fight. You can get this option with a speech check before you find James, but you run the risk of being locked out of it entirely if you fail. After going to the museum and grabbing the Virgo 2 dish, we take it to the Washington Monument and boost the signal of Galaxy News Radio. Returning to 3Dog, he will give us a holotape that points to Hamilton's hideaway as the location of the cache. The hideaway can be a bit confusing to navigate, and the location of the stash can be hard to find as well, nestled in a hole in the wall in the northwest corner of the concrete tunnels. Inside, we can find some pretty basic things: leveled armor, ammo, a mini nuke, an assault rifle, and even a stealth boy. The only way to get this key that unlocks the room is by completing the quest this way. If you kill 3Dog, the required key will not spawn on his body. So no, 3Dog isn't lying. Still, some people probably wouldn't consider this that exciting of a reward. Regardless, these things can help out quite a bit, and it's nice to hear GNR without the static. Shout out to Garmfield on the Discord server for suggesting this one. In the Fallout 3 DLC, Point Lookout, we enter a murky swamp filled with loads of things to discover, and one of the most impressive lies underwater just off the shore of the coastal grotto. Marked by a buoy, we can find these enormous skeletal remains of a T-Rex. The Fallout series has a fun history with the prehistoric, with devs even considering making the original game about time travel and dinosaurs. This massive dino skeleton may or may not be referencing that, considering we can find a human frame here as well with a lever action rifle and ammo boxes. A safe nearby contains a bunch of loot and adds to the mysterious story being told here. This could be trying to make a reference to the original changed plot of the Fallout series if it implies these two beings coexisted, especially with such an advanced rifle present as there's no way guns were around at the time of dinosaurs, perhaps hinting at time travel. We can find a pretty much intact but far less mysterious Tyrannosaurus Rex bone collection in the Museum of History as well. Just more small details that make the world of Fallout that much more fun to explore. In the Fallout New Vegas DLC Lonesome Road, we travel to the Divide and learn a lot about ourselves along the way. One thing about Lonesome Road that gets overlooked quite often is the fact that Ulysses, the courier we meet here, watches us from the jump. In at least 2 locations we can see this for ourselves, though I have heard rumors of other places to spot Ulysses, these are the two I can confirm. First, we can see Ulysses while heading towards the crow's nest. He will be overlooking the broken highway and staring a hole through us while doing so. The second time we can see him is by the Sunstone Tower. After he speaks through Eddie, we can see him walking off in the distance. This is an incredibly cool small detail that really drives the character of Ulysses home. If you know for sure of any other places we can spot him, let me know on Discord in the video suggestions with a screenshot or something like that, and I will update the video. As far as I know, these are the only two locations to see him. In Fallout New Vegas, the quest There Stands the Grass will send you to Vault 22. Before heading out, you can hear about a scientist named Keeley who's been doing work there. After speaking to Keeley, we learn that spores in the air are behind the wild plant life surrounding Vault 22. We can see these spores under Keeley's UV light on level 2 of the vault. After helping her purge the area, we can see that the spores are no longer in the air if we come back to the light. A terrific small detail most players would likely miss that adds to the immersion of Fallout New Vegas. In Fallout New Vegas, we can find Vault 34, protected by hordes of golden geckos and mass amounts of toxic waste that seep radiation into anything nearby. Not to mention, once inside, we have the crazed vault dwellers turned ghoul and the copious levels of water that have plunged a lot of the vault into murky darkness. It's a hellscape. The NCR can point us towards this vault with the Hard Luck Blues quest, but you might want to enter the surrounding cave away from the group of geckos. If the courier comes from the north of this area, a top entrance can be found. I have seen people avoid the hole thinking it would lead to instant death, but that is not the case. It just acts as a small shortcut to the vault that allows you to skip some geckos if you want. New Vegas has a ton of alternate entrances and exits, so if you know of any the viewers might not know about, drop a comment on the video to let us know. In Fallout New Vegas, we can come across The One, an undetonated nuclear bomb in the middle of the desert. The thing I want to talk about is the branding on the side of this particular doomsday device. Looking closely, we can see what looks like a simplified, low quality, or even modified Vault-Tec logo. While this encounter requires the Wild Wasteland perk and thus shouldn't necessarily be taken as canon, it's still interesting to see this on the side of the bomb. It has been a long time theory that Vault-Tec, in hand with the Enclave, kicked off the Great War to get their missions in motion. This was to be confirmed in the cancelled Fallout movie, where it would have been revealed that Vault-Tec launched the first strike. While the placement of this bomb can be easily explained with the Wild Wasteland perk, the bomb's design doesn't have to be held to those same standards. I like to think that this is the one that started the war, hence the name of the encounter. That is why it's branded with a logo resembling Vault-Tec, perhaps a nuclear division we haven't even seen. I have seen a lot of comments on my channel and discussion elsewhere about what happens if you take out Vulpus before you get to Nipton or before you hit the Tops Casino. Both locations have a spawn point for Vulpus in which he will engage the player. In Nipton, Gaben will show up in his place and offer pretty much an identical speech.
Don't worry, I won't have you lashed to a cross like the rest of these degenerates. It's useful that you happen by. I want you to witness the fate of Nipton, to memorize every detail. And then, when you move on, well, I'd like you to move west towards the Mojave outpost, to let the profligates there know about the little sermon I prepared for them here. I am Cabot, of Caesar's Legion. I serve my master as the one of his Frumentarii. We Frumentarii are soldiers of a different stripe, capable in battle, but skilled as infiltrators and agents as well.
At the Tops, Illyrio shows up and gives us basically the same rundown, though he will mention the death of Vulpus.
The eyes of the mighty Caesar are upon you. He admires your accomplishments and bestows upon you the exceptional gift of his mark. Your crimes against the Legion, including the death of the fearless Vulpes and Kulta, are hereby forgiven. Caesar will not extend this mercy again. My lord requires your presence at his camp at Fortification Hill. His mark will guarantee your safe conduct through our lands. Incidentally, it will interest you to know that the man you seek has fled the Strip, and is likely making haste for Caesar's camp as we speak.
Shout out to Max on the Discord for suggesting this one. In Fallout New Vegas, you can encounter quite a unique home if you travel to the northern part of the map. Brooks' Tumbleweed Ranch takes its name quite seriously, as inside we can find the tumbleweeds that call this place home. One in the living room and one in the bedroom, seemingly taking a nap. Interestingly, the items in the shack are owned, likely implying that the tumbleweeds own the property, though outside there is one living creature to find. Amongst the free-range tumbleweeds, we can find a nightkin that will turn off his stealth boy when we get close.
You want to buy Wind Brahmin? Right here. Where did you come from? What's? Crazy with low prices on Wind Brahmin. You buy one. All. They are very good, Wind Brahmin. All caps. Ha ha, stupid human.
Obviously, this is a bad deal and we can kill him and take our caps back after the deed is done. If you refuse the offer, it will lead to him being hostile anyway, so this is the best way for it to pan out. This is a fun location to find and, to me, shows signs of the classic Fallout humor.
Get fucked.
I gotta testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die, you gon' touch the sky. You gon' touch the sky, baby girl. Testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die.